classical roots of heavy metal are fairly obvious. And I would say most of the practitioners, most of the really, really good ones, were fans of dark classical music. And in some cases, dark and powerful and heavy classical music, like Wagner. He actually reshaped the orchestra. He added tubas, he added extra basses, he added an octabass, which is actually a double-sized bass violin that took two people to play. One guy on a stool fingering it, and one guy, one guy playing the bow. And he just loaded down the bottom end of his orchestra so that when that orchestra played, the rafters shook. There was so much bass. It was the first time that anybody really heard that live.
I still believe if Richard Wagner had actually been around today, he'd probably be in Deep Purple. Or Beethoven probably would have been happy to be in Led Zeppelin. The music itself, because it was so huge and it didn't have amplification in those days, it had orchestration, I think again belongs to that metal environment.
Classical music is associated with the university, with learning and everything. Bach didn't go to college, Mozart didn't go to college. Virtuosic performers who were known as improvisers, that describes Bach as well as it describes Eddie Van Halen. From Eddie Van Halen on, the guitar becomes so overdriven, so hot, that the models of playing from violin and organ become relevant to the guitar, which used to be an instrument like the piano where you'd hit a note and it would fade. Not any longer. You hit a note, it can last forever because it's feeding back. And so all of a sudden you have the classical models being relevant because of technological changes.
Of course, heavy metal has another musical ancestor, one whose roots lie deep in the American South.
The root of all rock and roll is in blues and slave music. I mean, they invented it. The guitar is an African instrument, That's where it started.
The origins of metal really can trace itself back to the blues in America, and that of course was very much an oppressed music, and it very much spoke to people that needed something a little different. It's about the factory worker coming out of a factory wanting the energy to come out in a different way, in an entertainment form that was theirs and theirs alone.
How were you influenced by the blues?
Oh, a lot. I liked blues because that's where we started. We actually, before we called ourselves Black Sabbath, we were a blues jazz band.
Our first influence was really American blues that had been processed through the sensibilities of the English rock musician. They took American blues and threw it back at us.